after tonight, how can you, if they want, who do you mean by they? Like, who are we talking about? Because I have a distinct response. If you're saying they, like refs, or like who, I mean, I have faith because we were in this spot 12 months ago. They play number 9 Ole Miss in like 3 weeks or in 4 weeks. They play at number 9, a top 10 Ole Miss team. So I got LSU. Mississippi State's a good team, and they're still gonna play. I mean, if they make it to Atlanta, they're still gonna play Georgia, a top 5 Georgia or Tennessee team in Atlanta. Alabama still has the. I mean, let's not do this again, because I came on here last year after Texas A&M won on a walk-off field goal, and people in the comments up and down, oh, Bama season's over. They'll enjoy a New Year's Six bowl. They're not making the playoff. Guys, there's no shot. Or I guess you can say like they're not going to, but there's no shot. There's still a shot. Like, this is a better loss than that game, and they were what, the 1 seed last year. They could still do it. They're talented. Bryce Young is good enough. They can still make the playoff. It's going to take a lot of work. They have a harder schedule this year than they did last year. Just playing Ole Miss on the road, LSU on the road. Still got to play Mississippi State, who's a really good football team. Alabama has every chance in the world to make the playoff, as does Georgia, as does Tennessee, as does Ohio State and Michigan, and even like TCU. TCU can do it. Big win for them. If you're Horned Frog fans, which I doubt any of you are, congrats. That was a fun one to have on TV too. Alabama. They're going to drop Bama to 10. Bud, you're overreacting a little bit here. They're not dropping Alabama 7 spots because they lost to the number 6 team. Excuse me. They lost to the number 6 team on the road by a field goal, by a walk-off. Relax. Be upset, but let's not get crazy. Alabama's going to be fine. They're going to probably move them down to, let me look at the AP Top 25. That's all we have because okay, so they'll fall behind Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, Michigan, Tennessee, USC, probably Ole Miss. So they'll be 8th. And if USC loses tonight, maybe they fall to 7th, maybe even to maybe they go up to 6th. They're fine. Yeah, because they didn't. Any team that looks like Bama did and a couple of those wins are going to. And Ohio State's just murdering people. They're fine. We literally were in this exact same spot 12 months ago against a worse Texas A&M team. That was a 8-4 Texas A&M team. This Tennessee team is at least going 11-1. Unless they do something monumentally stupid, like lose to South Carolina. They're going 11-1. Okay. It'd be a lot harder if we don't. Again, the issue today on defense was you can do a lot, like schematically, and all the players just need to be better, which they do. They weren't good today. Part of the issue was that Tennessee was running the ball really well and really effectively. Alabama couldn't drop 6. They had to keep 6 in the box. And when Tennessee does that, safeties are getting one-on-ones, and safeties, more often, even as talented as Alabama safeties are, they're not going to win one-on-ones against these concepts and against the routes of Tennessee because they're not built for that. That's why they're safeties, not corners. Yeah, Bryce Young, I think with the game he missed, won't be in the Heisman conversation. He's still, again, if you're taking Will Levis over Bryce Young, just punch yourself in the face and quit watching football. I like Will Levis. He's a good quarterback. He's done some good things at Kentucky, but Bryce Young was a magician today in some of these plays. Right now, I think your Heisman, I think your Heisman circle is Hendon Hooker. I think he's right there. C.J. Stroud, Blake Corum. I think Bryce Young's there, and maybe like Brock Bowers. I don't know Brock Bowers' stats from today, but his stats have been pretty incredible. And then like DTR at UCLA, like there's a pretty good group going on here. No one's really pulling away. So yeah, Bryce Young can get right into that group if he's not already. It's just the missed game is going to really hurt his stats. I think Tennessee could have a rematch if they were to beat Georgia. Yeah, okay, so Alabama still has – they still control their own destiny, as does Tennessee. But it's going to be tough. Like, beating Ole Miss is not going to be easy. Beating LSU, maybe not. LSU, okay. Beating LSU on the road is not going to be easy. It never is, except for when there's no fans and Devontae Smith just owns everybody on the field. They struggle. Beating Mississippi State next week isn't going to be the easiest thing in the world. So they absolutely could, and they could have a rematch, and I want it. I don't know how you can watch that game today and not go, I want a rematch. I remember OU Texas in like 2018 when Kyler and like Sam Ehlinger were like going back and forth, and it was super fun. And then we were like, oh God, that rivalry rematch. And then they got it, and then the rematch was good. Give me that, please. Okay. Okay. Refs didn't cheat. Bama was really undisciplined today. He's still not. Dude, look, man. They lost a game like this 12 months ago, and Bryce Young still won the Heisman to a worse Texas A&M team. He missed the game, which is why I do think he's not really in it right now. But if Alabama wins out, which they could do, wins the SEC title and gets in the playoff, he's right there. They were. And this LSU team is not good. It's a surprisingly pretty mediocre LSU team. Brian Kelly's a good coach. I don't know what's going on there. Like, Jane Daniels isn't a good thrower, which is part of the problem. But it can be done. But how many times we watched Alabama go on the road the last couple of years and just struggle? Florida, they should have beaten the brakes off them. Florida wasn't a good team. Couldn't do it. They went to Texas and really struggled. Won, but struggled. We've just seen them go places and just not do what Bama should do. Hendon Hooker for Heisman. He's in the circle. He's in it, man. He was great. He had a couple bad plays, but he overcame it and he won the game, or he helped win the game. Half an hour to figure out. That was just bad refereeing. They made the right call, so they weren't against Alabama in that case. They made the right call. Bad PI in the end zone. You weren't here for the beginning of the show, which is fine. Welcome to all those that are new here. I'm Zach Ramelius here at Alabama Postgame Live, but Tennessee also got a bad PI call. He got a bad PI call. Ja'Cory Brooks on like that 3rd and goal from like the 17 or the 16. That was a bad call. Brooks pulled his guy into him and he tripped over him. So it all evens itself out. I'll agree the call was weak, but it evened itself out from a weak pass interference call against Tennessee. Missed roughing. I mean, there was missed calls all over the field. Just Alabama was they just didn't play well today. Like, not that they didn't play well. They just had a lot of penalty. They were undisciplined, which is a trend that has continued because this year they had 15 penalties against Texas. Hendon Hooker. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict I don't want to throw out who was the only Heisman winner last few years that took off in September and kept it there? Like maybe Lamar. Usually, you have a circle of Heisman winners and they kind of rotate who's here. And Hendon Hooker's definitely in the circle with Blake Corum at Michigan, with C.J. Stroud up at Ohio State, who had a rough game against Rutgers, but came right back and threw 7 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns against Michigan State, which everybody's throwing 7 touchdowns against Michigan State. But except Wisconsin. That's because they have Graham Mertz and not CJ Stroud. DTR over at UCLA is doing a wonderful job. Caleb Williams, I didn't say in my original when I talked about this like 10 minutes ago. He's probably in there, but he's had a couple rough games. So he's probably in. He could probably put his name. He has a chance right now against Utah, which I'll watch to put himself in that conversation as far as Heisman contenders go. Okay. Tennessee was the better team. Yeah, they were. They made a couple. I mean, we can talk about the penalties today for Alabama. Big reason why Tennessee won that game, and it is. Let's not sugarcoat it. But Tennessee, Hendon Hooker missed a throw. I would guarantee he makes 9 times out of 10 for an easy pick. A fumble on an exchange for a touchdown. That's not going to happen. I just want to see these teams play in Atlanta. I really do. I thought Tennessee was a better team today. I don't think it could have been. I don't think they were like demonstrably better, but they were the better team in a great environment. And now let's see it on a neutral field.